What's up internet, Kevin here with TLD bringing you our review of the new Devil May Cry DmC. Now when this title was first initially announced, there was a lot of fan outcry against the decision to reboot the series, not only in terms of how they changed the main character's appearance and personality, but also just the overall shift in the game's tone and setting. Now in the interest of full disclosure, I was in fact one of those fans. Didn't really care for a lot of the changes I saw. However, I also held the opinion that we should just wait and see how the actual combat turns out, because that is in fact the very heart and soul of the Devil May Cry series. Challenging, difficult combat that rewards not only good tactics, but also stylish changing of combos. Looking at the final product, now that we have our hands on it, it looks as though Ninja Theory got part of the memo of what makes DmC such a great franchise, but at the same time entirely missed out on its underlying strengths. And as a result, the easiest way to sum up this game is that it's a whole lot of style without a lot of substance. Starting with a slider of moving from the good to the bad, let's start with the game's level design. Conceptually, a lot of the game's stages are downright beautiful, with good backdrops in the distance. And some of the concepts behind the environment itself fighting back at you is pretty damn awesome. This entry has done away with the idea of exploring one large area like in DmC 1 or 3, and in exchange has put a more linear approach like in DmC 2, with just a little bit of backtracking here and there in some areas. Minor puzzle or discovery elements have been replaced by straightforward platforming, which mixes up the use of air dashes and grappling skills to pull you towards blue things or pull red things towards you. It's pretty to see, but doesn't really offer much in terms of platforming difficulty, as the only skill you're ever really required to use is match the node with the right color grappling hook, and occasionally the surprising need to air dash. Now let's talk about the combat, which as I said earlier is indeed the heart of the DmC series. As in past games, players are able to string together multiple different attacks by using either timed button presses or switching between different weapons. In this case, players are able to carry a full set of 5 different weapons at all times, and switching between them is actually quite smooth, something I do applaud in its design. Combine the number of weapons you have with the ability to use pull mechanics to bring enemies to you, or you to them, and the game allows for a ridiculous amount of possible combos, many of which are easily infinite, which is both cool, but also exploitable. Simply put, combat is just damn pretty, and admittedly there's a fun factor derived from this. However, where the combat system mucks this all up is in its application of a style rating system. Players are awarded ranks for stylish combat, which in this particular game boils down to do lots of damage without getting hit. Combos only reset if you get hit by attacks, and don't expire or degrade over lack of combat time, unless it's a solid 10 seconds of you doing nothing. Furthermore, using the same attack over and over again doesn't penalize you, it only makes the combo meter grow a little slower, which resets as soon as you do just one different attack, meaning that SS or even triple S ranks are possible by just doing 2 different moves with the same weapon back to back, as long as you don't get hit. It also doesn't help that damage seems to play a more important role than the number of hits and combos, so using one strong single hitting move that sweeps multiple enemies can on its own instantly reward you with an S or even double S combo rating, because it's apparently such a difficult thing to pull off. Now this leads us to the game's second largest problem in combat, its challenge, or the lack thereof. Enemies are painfully easy, with AIs that seem to always focus on just attacking by themselves rather than in groups, with the exception of a few little flying enemies that are more annoying than actually effective. Because of this, players can just focus fire on 1 or 2 enemies to build up their combo meter, and never really feel any fear from being retaliated against by other enemies. This is what I mean when I say that this game is all style without substance in terms of its core gameplay. Players are capable of flashy, good-looking combat, but are basically never required or even encouraged to try and mix things up with different weapons, either because one weapon alone can award you a max rank, or because an enemy requires you to spam 1 or 2 specific weapons to kill him. Playing on the hardest difficulty available from the start is still easier than a normal difficulty in most other action games, not even just comparing it to past DmC titles alone. Now the game's storytelling itself also suffers from a lack of substance put with way too much style. In this case, it's being the overarching plot versus individual scenes. At first I was intrigued by the idea of having demons serve as a sort of big brother figure, featuring elements from popular dystopian settings like 1984. However, any potential this had was quickly squandered by the game's poor use of dialogue, and scenes that featured terrible decision making on Dante's part, illogical blind faith in other characters that clearly need to be questioned, and a healthy dose of dick jokes and blatant cursing that lacks any sense of wit. I feel almost as though someone on the writing team had a fantastic idea for an origin story, revolving around the idea of rebellion and self-discovery, only to have the rest of the writing team try to make it into a brute action flick with little philosophy behind it. All of the right surface elements are here for making a strong action title, and if all you want is mindless combat with easy enemies that make you feel like a badass and look stylish, it's perfect for that. However, in terms of something that actually challenges and rewards you for proper gameplay, the game falls completely face first, with a hard difficulty that borderlines on most games' normal modes, and a style system that basically rewards you for knowing that your controller has buttons and that you push them to do things. That's our review for DmC. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, as it is the easiest way to help out the channel and is always appreciated. And if you have yet to do so, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Twitter at TLD_Kevin. As always guys, thanks for watching our videos. I'm Kevin for TLD, and I'll see you guys next time.